Hey, Michael Viewmaster Morlan here, and after a 3-month hiatus and a trip around the world, we're back. Finally, Eric Wingman Peterson joins us to talk about his new game and the stellar team behind it. Too many Star Citizen updates to list, fan artwork, podcasts, and more coming up right after this. Welcome back to Galactic Inquiry, the webcast where we feature you, the community of Star Citizens. Did you miss us? We missed you. You know, after a move to new digs, a project in Jakarta, the holidays, a new year, and ramping up on new projects, Carla, Dan, and I are back to talk shop and share the best from the community. And a very warm thank you to our Patreons who kept the home fires burning while we were away. Thanks for sticking with us. We sincerely appreciate that you kept your pledges live on the Galactic Inquiry Patreon project. Yes, Galactic Inquiry is back, this time as a monthly show. Producing the show weekly was a real full-time job for us, and we would really like some time to develop other projects. To that end, we'll be trading airtime each month with another show we're reproducing. That's right, we're helping Eric Peterson produce a new show and behind-the-scenes videos for his new game development team, Descendent Studios. So watch for more announcements as we ramp up that production with Eric and company. Oh, and Star Citizen, what have ye wrought in the 3 months we've been away? Whoa. So much has happened since our last show in October. Another RSI anniversary, major websites and store updates, new ships including the Pegasus escort carrier for Squadron 42, PAX South, persistent universe presentations, cute space globes, buggy and ship variants, well, the list goes on. And the latest, a big MobiGlas update. In service to Chris Roberts' pledge to create an immersive world, the behavior team has been hard at work designing a graphical user interface that will be fully integrated into the world of Star Citizen, rather than just being tacked on as a thin film that breaks players out of the world. Of course, the conceit is MobiGlas is a holograph projected from your character's arm cuff into the environment before you. You know, I don't know, I think maybe my character would get pretty tired holding that bit of tech up for hours on end. I wonder if Chris is including a MobiGlas arm fatigue factor as an immersive element. Between that and passing out while in flight, I think my Star Citizen world will be truly complete. Now a bit of fun. In stark contrast to the worlds of most space simulation games depicting inconceivably crowded planetary systems, Alphonse Swinehart just released this video. Riding Light takes us on a trip from the surface of the sun past the planets of our solar system at the speed of light, demonstrating just, well, how empty our home world is. Now, putting aside the fact that if we were traveling at light speed, we wouldn't actually see the light pouring out of the sun, or much else for that matter, it is a little bit of fun to watch the difference between our fantasy space sims and the real world. You know, we're just going to leave that video running in the corner down there through the show and see how far we get. Later in the show, our good friend Eric Wingman Peterson joins us. Yes, we've finally dug Eric out of the basement at Cloud Imperium Games so he can share his excitement about his new game project. But right now, it's time for the Word of the Week.
Word of the Week. The word of the week is zipless economics.
Economists often dream of making game economies work more like the real world. We at Word headquarters call it zipless economics. The economy's so perfect, so ideal, that one doesn't even have to unzip one's pants to make love to it. Thank you, Erica Young, for that image. Now, if you ever wanted to know how close game economies are to real-life economies, the man to watch is former Steam economist Yanis Varoufakis. Varoufakis used to help Valve Corporation make the economies of different games work together within Steam. Now, he's going to do that for Greece. Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras just tapped Varoufakis to be Greece's finance minister. And Varoufakis will be the first to tell you that there are more differences between game economies and the real ones than similarities. Many people like to compare economies to a business, but a better metaphor is the family. A business can fail, declare bankruptcy, and disappear, but a family must eat, even when no income is coming through the door. Varoufakis points out that game economies are easier because they have markets in goods, but so far lack labor markets or fully developed capital markets. But real-world economies like that of Greece have decimated labor and capital markets, high youth unemployment, and taxpayers overloaded with foreign debt. At Steam, Varoufakis could make major macroeconomic changes without announcing them, which effectively made him a zipless financial dictator. Such changes cannot be made by surprise in the real world. A Greek exit from the Eurozone, Varoufakis points out, has to be announced in advance and may take 8 months. And in that time, people would flee Greek assets and the economy would just tank. Even so, we at Galactic Inquiry find it a little hard to believe that just simply changing exchange rates in a game economy was so easy, given the way our Star Citizen forums work. Maybe Varoufakis didn't read those. And now, here's the news. Let's take a look at how far we've receded from the fiery hell that is the surface of the sun. Okay, well, it looks like we've quite a while yet before we reach, well, just about anything. And that's your aerospace news. At Galactic Inquiry, we're always looking for your creations, and here's what we found on the web this week. First off, we wanted to give a warm shout out to the folks at Guard Frequency. Now, we've had them on as guests on the Galactic Inquiry, and having just released their 57th podcast, they continue to be a dedicated team of Star Citizen fans and commentators. And while we're in a podcasting mood, check out the Debuffed Star Citizen Report. This fan podcast produced by members of the Grievance Guild, Thaman, and Nemo. If you're into the minutiae of all things Star Citizen, then their hour-long episode should feed your frequent frenzy. Now, there's a fairly active modding community around the far-from-complete Star Citizen, and of course, ships are on everyone's mind since they're the #1 commodity in the game. Peter Blight, aka Chmee, recently submitted the gray box of his Leopard tactical carrier for review on the RSI forum. Take a moment to visit his post and share your thoughts on his concept. And while giving your favorite ship modders your props, be sure to check out Tspoon's online ship visualization tool. He's ripped the available HoloViewer models and created a handy interface to compare the ships side by side, as well as the various ship stats and loadouts. It's a great way to get familiar with your transportation options in the Star Citizen universe. So thanks to Guard Frequency, Grievance Guild, Chmee, and Tspoon. You're on this week's Fan Frequency.
I have developed a new ingenious plan for defeating Viewmaster. After extensive research involving Earth's internets, I have compiled a list of most popular memes for Earth peoples. They are blowing things up, chasing things before they blow up, shooting things to make them blow up, and kittens.
I love kittens.
I mean, blowing up kittens.
What? No!
Exploding Kittens is the most popular game on the internet. We can do better. We will explode something even better than kittens.
What's better than kittens?
We must analyze human psychology to understand what they want to blow up more than kittens.
But I don't even understand why they do that.
It's irony, you dim-witted, mateless reject.
They probably want to explode you.
What can we explode? Must be something cute and adorable that Viewmaster loves more than kittens.
Beep beep.
It's brilliant, Numlock. Start production right away!
Use of this product may cause discomfort while awake. Side effects may include side splitting, heart palpitations, nausea, unplanned urination, or vague sense of unease around other people. Additional side effects may include social phobias and or aggressive behavior towards newbies. Do not use this product while operating heavy machinery. If this product talks to you, please seek psychiatric care. All sales are final.
Okay, before we go blowing him up, perhaps we should take a moment to talk with him. Eric Peterson's been a real friend to me since high school and my boss on 1 to almost 3 occasions now. It's my great pleasure to finally have my friend and colleague, Eric Wingman Peterson on Galactic Inquiry. So, hey!
Hey!
How'd you get on our show?
Well, I drove to here, and
We finally got you here.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be really cool. I mean, I've been wanting to be on GI for a while, and looking forward.
Well,
to
you had to kind of wrap some things up with Cloud Imperium.
We did. It was always tough because I was looking forward to being on it, but Chris gave me some time to figure out what I wanted to do, whether I wanted to move to LA or whatever, and read some of the crazy conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And those are awesome. Love them. But
had to tamp those down.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because the truth is when I was doing Starlancer, Colton, my oldest son, Winglet, on the thing, was 1 year old, and I spent probably 7 to 8 months of his first year of on the road for gaming, for games or for making the game. So I'd promised my wife that I wasn't going to do that again. And so when this came up, and I understand completely, you know, Chris wants to consolidate around him. He said makes perfect sense. It took me a while because I really stinking love Star Citizen. I just loved what we're doing. I
agree.
You know, I built the entire team from day one. I was there at the inception. I was there beforehand when it was called Space Traders. So it's like it was hard. It was not an easy decision, but at the same time, I had a game in my head I was kicking around, and I wanted to go do it. So I couldn't be on the show because I was kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. And then once we got through that, it was, then you guys, I think that you left to go to Jakarta, right?
Yep,
you were like, you had some fun there, and it looks like you guys did some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
So
and then now Carla and Dan and I are putting together our own kind of projects and everything. So
looking
just
forward
got
to that.
A bunch of different things going on. But
I'm glad GI's back.
Yeah, I needed some variety. It's good to kind of keep the creative juices flowing by throwing yourself in an uncomfortable spot. And,
well, fair enough.
And you know about that. You've done that a few times.
Yeah, no, it is.
We go back,
well, do we want to say the year, 35 years or 36 or something like that? I mean, we did, we did a play in high school. I think it was Death Knocks, right?
Woody Allen's
Death Knocks. And you were Death.
I was Death, and you were...
Knox.
You're Nat Ackerman.
Oh my God, you're right.
Name.
I think you presented me with the actual script.
Yes, I did.
That was. I still have that. It was really cool. And
but
we played gin rummy for my soul.
That's right.
So I'm
usually
still
Death plays chess, but you convinced him to play gin rummy.
Well, I don't understand chess.
Not that
I make video games, man. Come on, that's 64 square.
So we ran into each other again in Origin Systems back in '95.
Yeah, I was playing ping pong, I think.
Exactly.
You were like, I heard that. I know that voice.
Yeah. And then we actually got a chance to work together in 2002.
1 or 2.
Yeah, 2002 after 9/11.
Yeah, it was on. We worked on Shadows of Mordor. We worked on Conquest Frontier Wars 2, and what was the really cool handheld game we made that was...
Hit and Myth.
Hit and Myth.
Yeah.
Fantastic game. I think it was for the Gizmondo or whatever, but
yeah.
It was so kind of... It's exactly what Wingman's Hangar and GI kind of is. It's kind of this...
I had that irreverence and
goofy, kind of fun. We're not taking ourselves too seriously, and
And Wynn McLaughlin was great on that one too.
Man, and he's done well. He's stinking lead writer for not Oblivion, but... Oblivion and Online.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, great. So he's doing awesome, and I miss him a lot. We actually gave you your first job, Win. Come back to Austin.
It's first game job, that's right.
Come back.
He came from doing feature film scripts.
Yeah, he was doing TV and films.
Yeah.
We actually have quite a few people we brought in from, which is kind of funny because I've had a lot of success bringing new people into the industry, really talented people. The industry's weird. When I first started, it was like, it was not so hard to get into. Mm-hmm. It was really, hey, you're creative, you want to try something out, join us.
I agree. I got a job at Origin Systems as an artist based on my motion graphics, broadcast motion graphics reel.
And you were doing like architecture or something, working for an architectural firm. And so there's a lot of creative people out there doing all kinds of stuff. And the mod community proves that. And
sure.
The publishers and game companies have sort of pushed that aside. And I'm like, man, that's the opposite approach. We need to embrace that and bring it in, and so we'll be looking to do something.
Well, so we wrapped up things with Star Citizen, and that's such an ambitious game.
It's gonna change the world. First of all, it's changing the way games are made. Yeah. It really is a AAA project that is, I think Halo or Destiny cost $400 million. So Star Citizen's going to cost quite a bit, but it's. I think Chris has even mentioned that it's, they could spend hundreds of millions on it or whatever he said. So, because it's a never-ending thing. It's like continually going forever. So,
well, that's the great thing about crowdfunding and continuing crowdfunding after your initial.
It's an ambitious project. It was really fun. I miss working with the guys a lot. I miss talking to Chris all the time. I miss Aaron, all the people, the guys I worked with in England. But at the same time, I'm super excited about what's coming up.
So you had another idea in your head.
I have a lot of ideas in my head. Not all of them great, man.
I know. I did enough brainstorming with you.
Yeah, fair enough. That's true, because I've always been of the opinion that we throw darts at the dartboard, sure. And some stuff sticks and some hits the walls and pockmarks, right? Uh-huh. And but everybody should be able to toss those darts. Everybody should be able to, because you don't know where the next great thing's coming from. That's and true. So one of the things that Kickstarter and other crowdfunding sources of Indiegogo and all those have allowed people to do is kind of, there's game types that are no longer being made and visited. Chris brought back Star Citizen, a space genre. It was just, it's dead. The RTS genre is kind of, it's cyclical. I mean, I can recall when RPGs were dead and they were saying, no more, RPGs are dead. And then I think Neverwinter Nights came out and people went, oh, I kind of like RPGs. And now they're like exploded. They're incredible. So that's kind of going on too. So it brings nostalgia back. There are game types that are not around anymore. I mean, I think one of the coolest ones on Kickstarter has been that Strafe video where it's like 1996 graphics.
Right, but just incredibly irreverent.
It is, but it's fun. I mean, like, there's a whole generation of people. My son, Winglet, and Six Wing, my youngest, they're playing games, but they've never played a space shooter, except now Arena Commander, obviously. And they've never played a 6 Degree of Freedom game, which is what we're looking to do. And they've never played an RTS. And so that doesn't mean the genre's dead or not fun anymore. It just means it's not being supported by the people with the money. And so what Kickstarter and other Indiegogo and other crowdfunding, Patreon and stuff, you guys know, has allowed people to have a seat in the boardroom and to say, yes, I raise your hand and say, I want that game.
Well, it lets us kind of float a trial balloon.
Yeah.
And see if something's going to fly or get popped, you know.
Well, yeah, it is a bit of a risk. It's scary, but at the same time, you're like, what you find is there are pockets of people all around the world that are like-minded or generally want something. And so if there's enough of those people, then you can reach enough of those people, they'll support you and you'll have something going forward together with them as a community and you'll make something cool happen. So
Descendent Studios is a new company.
Yeah, brand new.
And the first game concept is called?
Well, we batted around a lot of it's a working title. It's called Ships That Fight Underground.
Ships That Fight Underground.
Ships That Fight Underground.
STFU.
STFU, baby. Can you see the hats on the t-shirt? STFU. But it's like, that's a working title. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if that sticks. I mean,
so what's the concept behind it? What is it you're trying to do?
Well, the idea is there's a game in the 90s called Descent, which sold like 40 million copies. Really, really popular. I believe we were making Wing 3 or Wing 4 at the time, Wing Commander. And literally every day at 6 o'clock, we would stop and start playing Descent. And I got a funny story. Chris always had the office down the end of the hall. We're in crunch for Wing Commander. And he didn't know that when you fired the plasma missile into the wall, that the 3 plasma bolts would track back to your enemy. So I would get Chris on my tail, chasing me through the hallways, and then go to a T, fire it into the wall, and then take a right, and all the plasma would go back into his. And he was thinking I was somehow turning around, and he was going, "That's not flipping possible!" And you'd hear him all the way down the hall. And so it's about a week of that, and finally we were out drinking one night. And I said, I'm just firing the plasma missile into the wall, and he's like, and then he was like killing everybody, So it was.
Well, for me, Descent was the big deal. That was the first time I learned how to actually do strafing.
Yes,
because the best place to get an enemy was in an open room where you could just kind of fly around.
Right, open is interesting. It's an interesting concept because one of the things that Descent and other games like Forsaken did well was it can be open, but you've still got to have constraints because you've got to focus the gameplay. Because if everybody can just bounce around in 6 Degrees of Freedom, it's almost impossible to hit a target. Right. So the hallways, you put like specials in there, things people want to get. So you put points of contention in there, important aspects, and then you have people chasing each other, and then you focus the gameplay.
Right.
Once you go out into this vast space and you're bouncing around, it's very hard, and the gameplay becomes less focused and less dynamic. Right. So we're looking to recreate that type of gameplay in an all-new fictional environment in near-Earth space that modern graphics, I mean,
sure.
Star Citizens taught us anything is that we are going to make some badass-looking ships and graphics. So it's going to be beautiful, and that's on purpose. We want to bring it into the 2015 essentially. And
but a little bit more arcadey rather than so immersive.
It won't be it won't be realistic. It won't be photorealistic. It's somewhere between Crimson Skies and photorealistic. Right. So the paint jobs will be there, and there's a reason for that because I firmly believe that everybody wants to kind of be themselves. They want to be recognizable, and even though like we're flying around, I see you in a distance, a kilometer away or half a kilometer, and I see your name, you know, Viewmaster or whatever, and Wingman's chasing you, it's still a little impersonal for me. So, but if I see, if remember World War I, the Red Baron had the triplane, the Fokker triplane, and oh, there's a funny story with Fokker too, and I'm saying Fokker.
Careful.
Mother Fokker. So the point is that people recognized him, and there's terror there.
Right.
So there was respect. And
Even
honor.
the silhouette coming in from the sun.
100%. And so we're looking to allow people to customize their ships and create that same kind of thing. Maybe Viewmaster is like an incredible miner or an incredible shooter, and so you see that guy and maybe you don't want to engage, or maybe you do. Maybe that guy's easy to kill, and so we want people to recognize themselves and teams to be recognizable too. If clans or organizations want to get together and own a certain style and look, well, we're going to allow that to happen. So they all look like that, and so that's going to be fun. So we have customizable tails, wings, nose art, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so we got Descent-styled game.
Descent-style shooter game.
6 degrees of freedom.
Yeah, okay, so the setup is 300 years or so roughly in the future. Earth has the city, the governments have collapsed and been taken over by corporations. Right. We're running low on natural resources. And so it's created kind of a gold rush scenario into the asteroid fields specifically between Mars and Jupiter, which is the planet Phaeton, or, you know, fictional mythological Phaeton. Right. And so corporations have gone out there to start mining those things, and since there's no law out there, it's created sort of an environment of
Wild West.
Wild West, right. Very Firefly. You know, you and I both know how much I love Firefly.
Yeah.
See you in the verse. That's, you know, right. So anyway, the idea, and then so contracts will come from Earth and say teams will go out and land harvesters. So each pilot is inside the harvester, and then you fly we have drones. Now, originally we were piloting, before this got to this point, fictionally, that they were you were inside the craft fighting. And so, but it was too expensive to replace pilots. So corporations got together and had a big treaty and said, okay, we're doing drone warfare. So now, and there's 6 types of drones you can fly, different kinds. They all have specials and they all have abilities that are different than others.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does. They can all mine stuff. They can all fight. They can all have special weapons. There's a certain number of hard points
Healing
in each ship.
properties, whatever the
the
repair
property
system.
it's a typical archetypes. You repair, medic, fire from a distance. All those things are in there.
Heavy gun. Yeah.
Heavy gun, exactly. Assault. Right. So they're carrier. Maybe you're a hauler. So we haven't named the ships yet. We're looking to let the audience name those ships. Right. So that's part of one of the things we want to do is let them name what it's going to be. So you take the role of a drone pilot. And by the way, all these are they become heroes on Earth because the corporations, in order to keep the populace down or satiated, they are now, is that the word satiated? Whatever, I'm making a word up. They broadcast these sports back to Earth. And so pilots become heroes, and you get fame and you get a little more cred for
gladiatorial combat.
It is completely gladiatorial combat. And in space, exactly. And as you're fighting, you have team-based combat, you have individual stuff too, but say in a team-based environment, there'll be a contract that comes out, 2 or 3 teams will land on an asteroid, you'll bore their way in, and they'll be fighting for a certain number of resources, say it's helium-3, and they'll be, or even water, they'll be looking for that, and each resource has a cost or availability and an amount it's worth, and so you'll be able to track how the other teams are doing, right? And you may change from a hauler to an assault because you need to go stop the other enemy from because they're ahead of you on the resources. Now,
so here's a question.
Sorry, I can go forever on that.
You mentioned mining.
How
does that manifest? What does that mean?
Right. So there'll be voxels in some of the maps, the secrets. So if you remember, and I'm probably saying too much, but if you remember the game Wolfenstein, where you used to walk around and poke the walls until you found the secrets. Well, that's a fun game type that's just no longer there. Right. It's one of those things that just it's. We don't have to. You need to take some of the things that are fun. And fun is all that matters to me in a game. I mean, we're fighting TV, movies, everything else, books for your attention. And so it needs to be fun. And so that whole element of discovery is gone, except for Minecraft. So we thought that what you're going to do is you'll be able to mine certain areas and open up new pathways and tunnels. You'll be able to find specials behind there. When a harvester lands on top of the asteroid and bores a hole, he'll have a shielding in there where only once you get to the shielding, you're safe. Your drones are safe. But there might be back ways into that where enemies can come through and then start, you know, harassing you as you get your drones in.
Well, it reminds me of Dungeon Keeper.
Yeah, a little bit.
You'd be building your domain out in the world, and suddenly some hero comes, you know, out of nowhere, you know, because they dug through towards you.
Well, completely. That's it. And so, World War I, they used to go under the things and fight and mine underneath. And so, that's a game type. That's a thing that's kind of ignored or not there anymore.
Well,
so.
it certainly expands on the concept of just capture the flag games. You know, now you're defending a resource that you're trying to gather.
Right.
So that creates a whole nother.
There's
layer
turrets
of
you can
strategy.
drop. There's mining drones, and these are all things that you have to level through or earn your way to being able to use. Right.
Okay, so we're leveling up too now.
Absolutely. The ships themselves will level up. The items or the guns on your ships will level up. The specials will level up.
Right.
There's hard points on the ship that you can choose your configuration. You know, say you're an assault guy, you can increase your mining capability. You'll never get to the point where, as good as a mining ship is, which is that's its main function, but you'll be able to increase by percentage 10, 15, 20%. So people are going to be able to choose what they want to do to their ships, to customize it, to customize the abilities of it to where it suits their style of gameplay.
So how do you make this fun for both the casual player and people who are just dedicated to kind of beefing up their
Well, you mean
ships?
min-maxing? The guys who like to min-max, or the girls? That's fine. So that's the different archetypes, right? If you're more the type that wants to go and mine things, then you can be part of that team. Or we have individual maps where there's going to be races to getting to the, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop? But there'll be individual boring contests and things like that. So that's all going to be determined in the game types. And also, one of the biggest things, as we talked about earlier, is there are tons of talented people out in the world with no way of being in the industry. And so we want to create mod tools, or we will be creating mod tools, which allow them to create maps, noses, tails, things that we'll have a style guide that says, here's what the size of the collar it fits on, here's how you do it, go. And now they'll have to submit them to us, and they'll have to go through QA and all this other stuff and quality approval. Right. But it's like, if they make something good enough and people want to buy it, we'll share the revenue split with the people who made it. So
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, come on. There are people out there that are good enough to be in the industry, but maybe he's in Kiev, Russia, right? And he has no way in. Well, guess what? He or she has a way
Texas,
in. Or Georgetown, Texas. But they have a way in now.
So here's a question. You got to get this whole thing started.
Yeah.
And that's always usually starts these days with crowdfunding.
Yes, right. That's
and
true.
So, kind of, what do you got? What do we got planned there?
Well, it's coming very soon, and I know our fans like that word "soon," but the truth is, it's really soon. And so we will be starting a Kickstarter campaign as well as a store on our own website. We will be. And I don't want to give too much away because we're kind of if you can go to descendentstudios.com, DESCENDENT studios.com right now, sign up for the forums. You'll kind of get a little insight of what we've talked about here, but we're sort of dark in the art and what we're showing because we're creating a bunch of stuff to show during the campaign. We're looking at about 35 days for that. And there's some major announcements I'm leaving out there. You can't have it all, right? And so... but yeah, it's coming up real fast.
So, is there any benefit to people getting connected to the website soon?
Yeah, if they come now, they can come. There's a Pioneer Medal. We're gonna have some specials for them. They'll get something in the game that we haven't announced yet that only the people who come before the campaign get. Once campaign starts, Pioneer Medal's gone, and so there'll be a little something that whether it's a repair bot or something like we did at Star Citizen that only they will ever get, and it will be gone forever. Right.
So speaking of community, you've often concepted this.
Lifetime insurance!
Oh, man.
No, we don't.
No, but we certainly took a stab at this sort of concept of community outreach with Cloud Imperium.
It was very important to us.
Creating the game, the show Wingman's Hangar.
Sure.
And, of course, the entire program that Cloud Imperium did with their community team and everything. What would you do differently this time?
Well, it's I think Wingman's Hangar. I like what Around the Verse is doing. I think they're doing a good job for where they're at and what they're doing. They're creating their brand. They're wanting to do. This is what they want to do. I'm more of a kind of zany person, So I know it's hard to believe, and so I kind of view it like you're Tom Hanks in Big, and you're on the piano dancing, and so that's kind of how I want to. I'm already working 80, 100 hours a week. That's just how I'm wired. That's what I did at CIG. That's just what I do. I love it. And so I want to be able to enjoy that. And part of the enjoyment is involving the community. And if you remember Wingman's Hangar, the first, I don't know, 8 months was really mostly about the community itself.
Well, because there wasn't a game to show.
Right. I mean, we showed people moving into the office. We showed them the team we're hiring. We showed them, how animation gets going. We literally let them in.
And we featured them.
And we featured the community, right? We had Legante, Disco Lando, B-Man, Grey Lobo. We had all these people, the Empalman, the movers, Colonial Movers. I mean, we had those people. We want to engage them too, in this show. So Nikki, all these people really, really got inspired and joined us. And so that is completely what we're looking to do here. We are looking to have the community be part of not only building this project, having a voice. We're going to broadcast design meetings, right? That for subscribers, you're going to be able to come and actually sit online in a design meeting and watch what's going on.
Raw and uncut.
Raw and uncut, absolutely, and then ask questions about it. And then we'll edit a little bit out for everybody else to see afterwards, but. We want to invite people in. Now, the reason we do that for a subscriber level is so that you don't get everybody and their grandmother, specifically people that are out in there just a troll. Right. We want to have people that are serious and really want to be involved. And, and so they get involved, they come and they join us, and then they are part of the process. And so that's why we have MVP on the forum. We have different badges. You can be a contributor, subscriber, MVP, just a backer, or, that kind of thing. So, yeah, we're very much looking forward to the community being part of the game and the show. Well,
it sounds like we're engaging them both emotionally and financially. I mean, we're giving them opportunities to make something on the game, and they contribute something big, to be a part, to actually have an effect on design process, which is, and I think crowdsourcing, in addition to crowdfunding, is a really smart move.
Well, who cares where a good idea comes from? If it's a good idea, it makes the game better, and we can do it. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. That's why we're doing a show. That's why we did Wingman's Hangar. That's why we're going to do a show for the new thing. That's why it's like kind of this whole thing we're going to be doing, which all wraps up neatly for folks out there that want to be part of it. We want to bring folks in. We want to show them what's going on with the game. We're going to publish schedules. We're going to show a lot of what's going on.
A lot of exposure there.
Yeah, we've even talked about having like Jira. There's a way people can read Jira without having access to be able to. So we're toying around the idea of actually letting them. And we're going to have the fun thing. We're going to have a confessional camera, which will probably broadcast 24/7 for anybody in the office to come by and sit down and go, that mother trucker Eric or whatever, just have a little bit and vent and then go away.
Fans, forgive me for I have sinned.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the fun part, because there's a lot of pressure in making games, and so me, I always want to have the office be a real fun environment. Something, if you're going to expect people to be there longer than the normal 8 hours, you can expect them to be there, but then they kind of resent that. But if they want to be there because things are happening that are fun and engaging, and they're part of a creative process, you get so much more. It's like you get more flies with honey, so that's really how I feel. And I really want to create this environment of collaboration, and people being collaboration with the fans, with the contributors, and also with our team. So, yeah.
Well, I certainly look forward to helping you with that.
I know, it's really, I'm very excited to have, well, think about it. We've got you, we've got Jason,
let's talk a little bit about who's on so far.
Okay, so it's Phil Tittle was senior producer at CIG. Jason was chief technical officer. Chris Olivier, chief visual officer, involved a little bit. He's kind of in and out. He's doing a lot of other things too. He's from movies, so he's put some concepts together. We've got Todd Bailey from CIG. We've got Connie Whitener, who's our social media. And then we've got people from the community which are doing stuff. We've got we'll just use their username. So Kaji-san is doing one of the ship models. Irio is doing the game rules. Josh is in Japan working. We've got Fallernon in Connecticut. We've got people all over. Brandon Hess has put together our marketing strategy. He's in Denver, and so there are people. I'm so inspired by the fact that people want to be doing this. This is amazing to me, and I'm jazzed. They just keep me going, and so hopefully this thing will blow up, and we'll have a really good time doing it. And that's the goal.
Well, I look forward to it, and I look forward to having you on Galactic Inquiry as well.
Of course. Well,
so.
we've got a lot coming up too. We've got like Winglet's going to be doing stuff. I've got. I don't want to give too much away, but there's more segments coming up that are new people to meet.
Yeah.
New people to meet.
And characters.
And characters. Yeah, new people, new characters, new skits. It's going to be fun. I mean, you know, we are our own filter now, and that's a big thing. And so,
it's true.
You know, you and I work well together because you're very highbrow. You've got some really, really good ideas from up here, and I am not highbrow.
You're lower.
I am a lower third. I'm a low brow, and it's funny because you will bring me up.
Yeah.
Into the zone, and I will bring you sometimes down.
Yeah, you bring me down
into the zone, and it works. It works well for us. We get to occupy that middle area, which seems to be right in John Q. Public's wheelhouse. And not everybody likes what we do, but if you don't, you know, give us more time. We'll get there. We'll get better.
Well, Eric, it's always good to see you.
You too, my friend.
Look for more from Eric on Galactic Inquiry. Now that we got him, we're not letting him out of the building. And we at Galactic Inquiry are considering expanding our coverage to other game projects in addition to more features and interviews from Star Citizen. Now, we'd love to hear what you think of that. Look for a poll on the RSI forum at the link below. Now, if you like Galactic Inquiry, please become a Patreon backer today and support a show by and for fans of Star Citizen and beyond. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll get a ping each time we publish a new video. And keep in touch through your favorite social portals. Links to Galactic Inquiry sites may be found on our website. And of course, the centerpiece of our show is fan creation. So if you have something cool to share, send it to us. And if it doesn't suck, we'll show it. And remember, even over the volume of this cool batik shirt, which I got in Jakarta, we're listening.
Alert. Sensors. Unavailable.
Captain, the nebula is messing with our sensors.
Easy there. Remember that Aurora pilot outside Frontier Space. Status report!
EMP, sir! Gravity, life support, and avionics jump to auxiliary power. Propulsion and weapon systems are just out. It'll take at least an hour to get everything.
15 minutes! We won't have even that if... Ah, hell! Systems compromised! Everybody get ready!
Please stand by. Docking is currently in progress. Prepare for arrival.
Knock, knock! Hit the deck, Spacer. There's no heroes on this ship. You know the drill. Sweep the deck. I forgot to bring a gun. When I'm shooting. Station secure. We're clear. The captain's still breathing. What do I say about survivors? All right, show me your secrets, love. It's a good catch, boys. Let's wrap this up, what do you say? Grab the crate and set the self-destruct. Leave no evidence that we were here.
Self-destruct activated. Please evacuate ship. Self-destruct activated. Please evacuate ship. Self-destruct activated. Please evacuate ship.